Howdy folks, welcome back to the patch 8.8 test server with the mighty Jingles. This video is going to be relatively quick, by my standards, but there's going to be no gameplay in it. So if you came here looking for tank battles, don't waste your time, click on, watch the next video, go somewhere else, whatever. It's just me talking and showing you the things that have changed in the second test version of patch 8.8 on the test server. That's right, the second test is out. It's a small 50 megabyte update. Won't take you long to download if you already have the patch 8.8 test server installed and running. So, there are quite a few significant changes in the second test. The vast majority of the changes are purely interface improvements, bug fixes, stuff that didn't work properly in the first iteration of patch 8.8. For example, you can now look at the service record without breaking the game, which is nice. So yeah, there you go, you can see exactly how crap I am. New service record screen, and very nice, I'm sure you'll agree. It is. So that's nice. Also, now when you're browsing equipment upgrades, it doesn't suddenly slow everything down to 1 frame every 15 seconds. So that's fixed as well, so that's nice. And 8.8 patch 2 is full of little fixes like this that just make playing around on the test server more enjoyable. Particularly annoying bugs like the inability to actually put a tank into battle has also been fixed. Previously on patch 8.8 test server, I would say, oh, I'll have a quick go on my M103. Hit the battle button, tank not ready for battle would pop up over here, while ready for battle was sitting over there. And in order to get around this, you either had to delete various different files and folders or sell the tank and then buy it back again. That's been fixed. Now you pick a tank, as long as it says ready for battle down here, hit the battle button, you're straight in. So there's lots of quality of life improvements coming along in the second version of the 8.8 test. Now, the actual information on what has and hasn't changed between the first version of patch 8.8 and this version of patch 8.8 is actually pretty thin on the ground. The only thing it says on Wargaming's website, certainly on the EU portal, is there's a second version up. Discuss it on the forums. Discuss what on the forums? You haven't given us any patch notes. So, as usual, you have to look elsewhere to find out what has changed. And I think probably one of the most significant changes is to this thing, the E75. Now, as many of you will be aware, they have badly hit the top horsepower of the biggest and best engines on a lot of the German tanks, E75 being just one of them. It seems to be all the Henschel engined German tanks, the E75, the Tiger II, the Tiger, the 361H, and so on and so on and so on. So, for example, my E75 and my E50 both used to have 1200 horsepower engines. Now, the E75 is not the fastest tank in the game, even with the 1200 horsepower engine. Now it only has a 900 horsepower engine, and it doesn't seem to have gotten much lighter. So the power to weight ratio on almost all of the German tanks is not as good as it used to be. However, I did mention in the first patch 8.8 preview that they have increased the traverse speed and the top speed of these German tanks to compensate. Now it sort of compensates and it sort of doesn't. They haven't necessarily made the tanks more manoeuvrable or any faster. They certainly haven't really made them any faster, because the E75 struggled to reach its top speed in the first place, even with a 1200 horsepower engine. On anything other than the smoothest of surfaces. It's never going to reach that 40 km per hour top speed unless it's going down an incline. Similarly, the traverse speed increase to the suspension was purely there to... Here's the thing, the turning rate of a tank is not just a function of the traverse speed of the suspension, it's also a function of the amount of torque produced by the engine. And if your engine suddenly has 300 less horses under the hood, you're not going to turn as quickly. So this traverse speed buff is just there in order for the reduction to the engine's horsepower not also being a manoeuvrability nerf to all of these German tanks. What they have done in the case of the E75 and the E75 only, which is the major change to the E75 in this second version of patch 8.8, is that they have increased the, I quote, passability, unquote, of the suspension on bad and medium terrain. So they've buffed the ground resistance, if you like, of the suspension. So it's just the E75 seems to be getting some special attention here. I don't know. I've never managed to actually drive the E75 due to various other nasty bugs on the first iteration of the 8.8 test. I would have had to sell the tank and then buy it again in order to take it into a battle. But other people have said that they didn't feel the E75 was that much less manoeuvrable. Although it definitely did struggle more going up hills. However, it should be able to maintain or gain speed better off-road now in the second version of patch 8.8 due to the increased passability on bad and medium terrain. In other words, off-road, going through swamps, bad stuff like that. So, and again, I don't know if the E75 was suffering particular manoeuvrability problems in the first version of patch 8.8 test, but hopefully, if it was, that should be a thing of the past. If it wasn't, this thing should be slightly more manoeuvrable now when off-road than before. While we're on the subject of the E75 and the German 1200 horsepower engines, I can't remember exactly how much XP that engine cost when I researched it on my E75. It's also used on the E50, but I unlocked it on the E75. But I think it was something in the region of 54,000 XP. Still no word on whether or not we're going to be actually getting this XP back, which is particularly disappointing if you, like me, you used free experience to unlock that engine because the E75 grind was so horrible without it, because that cost me real money. And if I can't have the free XP, can I at least have my money back? I won't be holding my breath waiting for an answer on that one. Finally, I mentioned in the first 8.8 preview video the increased functionality of, well, you actually have a mission log, which is right up here next to the battle tutorial. Again, this is something that's been buffed, streamlined, bug fixed, and actually works properly without causing massive screen slowdown or crashes to desktop. It all just works as it should. There it is, your mission log. Hide completed. Sort by date, by finish time. Strategic mission, next win. Complete the following missions in any order. So, oh, I see. So you get a strategic mission every day, which is a whole bunch of other missions. And today's strategic mission is kill a T-34-3, a Super Pershing, a 112, and win a random battle using the Super Pershing, 112, or T-34-3. And once you complete that strategic mission, you get 1,000,000 credits. So that's nice. Missions that we have already completed. I'm going to have to pause the video here because I'm going to have to do an awful lot of scrolling to get to... Actually, no, if I start from the bottom, it shouldn't take that long. Come on. There we go. Right, there's the first mission, the first battle that I played on the test server today. As you can see, I got to fire 2 shots at a rather unlucky WZ-132, and then artillery landed one. I took 1 hit, and it wiped me out. Open top tank destroyers. They love artillery. So, there you go. Didn't matter, because the first mission of the day was play a mission, play a battle, and that awarded you the Super Pershing, and both of the Chinese Tier 8 premiums, the heavy and the medium. So, and if you already have the Super Pershing, it gives you 7,200 gold instead to go with the 20,000 that you'd get on the test server anyway. So that is how you get your hands on, in case it wasn't already obvious and you hadn't already figured this out on the first version of the test server, that's how you get your hands on the 2 new Chinese Tier 8 premiums. They're not available in the tech tree. There's no gift shop here on the test server for you to buy them from. All you have to do is fire up the test server, play a game. You come out of the game, mission complete, there it is. and you find the tanks in your garage. Now, speaking of the Super Pershing, a lot of people are saying, well, I say a lot of people, I've received PMs from 2 people saying that the armour of the Super Pershing has been buffed. Now, they couldn't tell me what had been buffed about the armour of the Super Pershing. I have scoured the internet and haven't been able to find a single mention of any buffs to the armour of the Super Pershing whatsoever. It looks exactly the same. The numbers look exactly the same. So I'm completely unable to confirm or deny any rumours that the armour of the Super Pershing has been buffed again. I've played a couple of games and watched various Super Pershings get the crap shot out of them. Where were they? It's received 7, penetrations 5. Yeah. Where's the other one? It's received 6, penetrations 5. And these guys were all getting shot from ranges in excess of 200 meters and getting shot at by things like this. It has a gun with 175 millimeters of penetration, firing on the piercing ammo, or 250 millimeters of penetration, firing its premium ammo. You think, well, yeah, 250 millimeters of penetration, that'll go through the Super Pershing's armor. Yeah, but the Super Pershing's armor is spaced, and that's high explosive anti-tank ammo. So, and again, this is not scientific testing whatsoever. I've just heard people saying, oh, the Super Pershing's armor has been buffed, and I have seen no evidence of that whatsoever. So, again, this is what I've heard. A quick roundup of the various changes that are on the patch 8.8 second version of the test server. I'll keep investigating and get back to you in a future video if I find anything to change the opinion that I already have of the Super Pershing after playing it in the first version of the test server. But so far I have not found anything to make me change my mind. That's it for now, folks. Hope to see you on the test server. Maybe get my ass kicked by you. You never know your luck. As always, folks, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.